Hello, gang. We are live again. Oh, the dreaded updates. Forgot about this. I was having some issues with booting up the game earlier, a little bit ago. The that auto HDR glitch that I was telling you about with Samsung TVs that have the HDR Plus feature reared its ugly head again. I turn the game on, the screen goes black, all I hear is audio. Had to restart my console a couple times to get her going. I was gonna try to avoid the update thing, but well, I'm hoping this update's not very large, or it doesn't take a long time. I don't want to make this an epic 5-hour stream again, like these past few ones I've been doing. That's I mean, every night that turns into a bit of a grind. Don't get me wrong, I love being here to try to entertain you, but 5 hours of my time that's a lot. So. All right, we're just gonna go casual tonight. We're no flight simulating. Okay, I don't even know how to fly a damn plane other than to fly up and down, left and right, and all that stuff. We're going to avoid the Top Gun Maverick activities for now. We're just gonna go right to a flight plan. I'm gonna take you on a bit of a tour of my part of the world. Right now, according to Microsoft, it's dark here, like nighttime dark. We're gonna fix that though. We're gonna say it's gonna be, oh, it won't let me do it. Okay, we'll go the other way. We're gonna say it's early morning. Oh, no, actually, this would be early morning. We're right in the middle there. Zoom in on my neighborhood here. Ed Stevens International Airport. That's where we're gonna take off. See, this is my city. This is Anchorage. We're gonna actually take off from Lake Seward, which is not far from where I live, put it that way. There's the airport. Lake Hood's right there. Technically it's there's Lake Hood, the runway. And then there's, if you're on a float plane, you take off this way. We are going to pick a float plane. Not the Maverick jet. I really wish they would have brought back the F-14 from the first Top Gun movie, but they retired that plane a while back, so I want to fly you out to where we're gonna go in something small, like a float plane type of thing. I was thinking maybe I want to do a float plane because there's a lot of water, a lot of ocean around where I live. And, well, in case you can't find a place to land, just like land on the water. So we're just gonna do that. Gonna find a little tiny airplane. Oh, they put helicopters in here. Or is that a drone? They're gonna put helicopters in the game eventually. I don't know when. but we're going to pick just a plane that has floats on it. Because the float planes also have, there's the floats, and you can see there they have the tires. So we're going to, where is it? I'll just pick this one here. Hubcrafters. This guy. And we're not gonna play a simulator, we're just gonna go sightseeing. And specifically, I wanted to fly us from Anchorage, Alaska to Seward, Alaska. But I had this idea the other day, instead of flying as the crow flies, we're gonna follow the road to Seward, down the Seward Highway. I've driven that highway quite a few times now in my life. It's a really nice drive down there. The scenery down there is great. Take off from here. That is departure. And arrival. Seward is way down here. There's a road that goes through these here mountains. See it? That is probably it here. Let's see. The road from Seward to Anchorage. I think. Where are we? No, that's not it. I didn't know there was a road that went there. There's another road. Okay. And actually, here, I'll show you. From Anchorage. Zoom out, zoom back in. Anchorage. Seward Highway starts way back here. We're going to fly this path down this very long, winding highway. As you can see, it goes right next to the ocean. Well, the ocean comes in through what's called an inlet. Goes right down Turnagain Arm. The inlet is called Cook Inlet. It's named after Captain Cook, who quote unquote discovered Alaska. More like he discovered what would eventually become Anchorage. He landed at around the port of Anchorage back in the, I want to say 1700s. I forget the exact year. But he laid claim to being the discoverer of this area that would eventually become the city of Anchorage. And we're planning on flying all the way down this path. It won't take that long on the air, I guess. Fly down this path, goes right past called Alyeska Ski Resort. Goes right past. Road goes off to Whittier. Whittier's down this way. It's another nice town. We're going this way though. Fly down this way. Goes around the arm, so to speak. Okay, where are we? Supposed to go back up. Hold on. Let's go back up this way. There it is. Okay. Hard to see. But okay, goes down this way. And then it turns. I remember how it turns, because it goes off this way. You end up going this way. I don't know where the road is. That's the road. Okay, here's the road. Kind of tough to see from these satellite images. And I'm going this way. Flying in between, or going in between the mountains. Again, I'm going up this way. Road goes back up to the Turning an Arm inlet. You keep on going down this way. This is the highway, okay? Seward Highway. You can kind of see that it is in fact a major a thoroughfare. Pretty big road. Goes right past Hope. Slow down. And yeah, these satellite images are terrible. It's kind of hard to figure out where the road is, the highway. But anyway, the highway goes and it goes. You end up. There's Cooper Landing, so there's Sterling. Satellite images are not the best. But anyway, you're supposed to follow the road until you get to Seward. Here's Seward down here. Town of Seward is right there. Not a very big town at all. This is where that big landslide happened. It made the news, I think it was last week or a couple weeks ago. Made national news, so you might have heard about it. Basically, there's a big cliff right there, and a bunch of the boulders fell, causing a landslide. But the actual town of Seward is back here. It's right here. And actually, right there is the Alaska Sea Life Center, which is like a aquarium. You ever been to an aquarium before, where all the wild animals are tended to, and they swim around the water? We got like sea lions and walruses and things like that there. It's pretty fun. And we're gonna go down here, we're gonna turn around, we're gonna go all the way back to Anchorage. As a crow flies, it only take about not even maybe half an hour to actually fly there. Actually, we'll just fly there. We'll just fly to Seward. How's that? I don't keep it this long. Or you know what? I don't know. Let's keep it fun. We'll go to Lake Hood, and we'll land at Lake Hood. How about that? We're taking off from, and this is where we're going to land. Alright, let's fly our plane out of here. Keep it simple. Keep it safe. I just feel like chillaxing, being casual tonight. Been a rough week, live streaming Sniper Elite 4 and Sniper Elite 5. The other night I broke a personal record of mine. I did 5 hours and 11 minutes of Sniper Elite 4. Then last night I nearly broke that record with the debut of Sniper Elite 5, which gave me 4 hours and was it 53 minutes. That's still uploading onto my YouTube. If you want, you can watch it on my Twitch. What's going on here? Not sure what happened there.
water landing. Piers up for water landing.
Let's restart, shall we? I didn't know that was trying to make me take off right away. I thought it was just like a demo or something. Here we go. Hey.
Piers up for water landing. Piers up for water landing. Piers up for water landing.
Now we're gonna fly down this way. Alright, in real life we're not supposed to fly over the airport like this. Shut up. Hold on a second. Oh, here we go, control. Okay. Doesn't want to. Alright. This is Anchorage. It's about, going by the sun, I'd say about 10 o'clock in the morning. Straight ahead or off to our left there, right there, it's the Tugach Mountain Range. Tugach Mountain Range it's called. Shut up. I had this game on my computer as well. Because the deal was, if you bought this on your computer or on your Xbox, you also got it on your computer or Xbox. You bought it on one, you bought it on the other for the one price. It's a sweet deal. Just to... figure out what road we're on. There's Diamond Boulevard, I think. But this must be the Seward Highway, maybe? Oh no, this is O'Malley. Minnesota turns into O'Malley. Go up this way. We'll be running up on an old Seward here pretty soon. Yeah, okay. Yeah. There's just Target over there. See that little building right there in the middle? Yeah, that's Target. Target, right there is Cabela's. You go up here enough. See the train tracks. Turn on Old Seward here. Looks a little bit different than it does in real life. Old Seward's here. New Seward Highway's over there. It should be over there. Yeah, it's right there. New Seward Highway's right there. That big highway over there. Yeah. Oh, there's the roundabout for Old Seward. They kept that in the game. Down here, keep going. Yeah, Old Seward goes straight. And then Rabbit Creek straight ahead. And off to our right is the lovely Turnagain Arm. Mountains don't look too far removed from what we actually see in real life. Very, very beautiful drive. Right now here we are crossing over Seward Highway. New Seward Highway goes out of town. Old Seward here keeps going. Merges into one. We turn down this road. This is the Old Seward Highway. Kind of goes through this sparse wooded area. Off to our right here, that's Potter Marsh. Where all the wildlife lives. All kinds of, birds and whatever, they root their nest. It's like a nesting ground right there, but it's open to the public. You can go along a boardwalk and actually watch all the animals, all the birds and such in the water. Great place to take your kids and you want them to learn about wildlife and things like that. Okay, follow this road. Eventually it's going to turn to the right here. And not really nice houses in this area. Right here is the Seward Highway. In the turn, we are now following the Seward Highway out of Anchorage. And I don't want to do it first person, so you can't really see anything, so I'm gonna go this way. And as you can see, it's a lovely drive. I love going down this way. My real life job, they were sending me out of town. I was going down to Girdwood and back. Just a fantastic drive to do in really nice weather. We're gonna go past Girdwood up ahead here. The road doesn't really slant like this in real life. They kind of exaggerated this part. Yeah, the road's really slanting towards the water. It doesn't do that in real life, but thank goodness. Otherwise, driving out to Seward, Alaska, like you're driving in a NASCAR race, you're driving on the side of the road like this. But right now it's hooligan season, so all the little hooligan fish are running through. There's a bunch of people who go out here, they catch them. It's for net fishing, you kind of bring your net out. When the tide comes in with all the fish, you gobble them up with your net, and there you go. You can fill I think up to 3 ice chests, ice buckets full of hooligan fish. They are very tasty. They're like a whitefish, you can can fry them. Frying is probably the best way to eat them. You add your seasoning and all that stuff. Pretty tasty. Here we are on the Seward Highway. I'll be the first to admit these graphics are not they're not the greatest, but mostly they're taken off of I think it's the Bing. These are Bing engine, the Bing map engine. It's not the same as the Google map engine. And actually, if you go onto YouTube, you can find there's a video of some guy he modded this game for the PC to run the game using Google Map instead of the Bing map. And it was pretty cool. I like that video. I wish there's a way for me to link it for you, but I am not. I have my computer now. I'm playing the Xbox Series X version of this game, so. Right below me, to the right of the highway, is the railroad tracks. These are the same railroad tracks you use. You can take a train all the way down to Seward from Anchorage. And when me and my wife were planning on taking that long train trip to from Anchorage to Seward, we're gonna try to take our kids on there. Oh, that'll be fun. Like an all-day trip. Might even be like an overnight trip. Might have to like rent a hotel in Seward for a night. I'm just doing this nap of the earth thing because I want you to see the road. Get an idea of what it's like to drive down to Seward from Anchorage up here in Alaska. You can call this like a free sightseeing trip. From someone who actually lives up here and who kind of knows what the actual trip is like. Just gives me an idea. I want to play this game and fly down to all the places that I've actually lived at before. Like Quad Cities, Illinois, Eugene, Oregon, Lawrence, Kansas. You know, places that I've actually lived at for a while outside of Alaska. My life, but yeah, it might be fun. I was originally wanting to stream this at first from my computer, but maybe next time, maybe just to compare the two. And it looks like there's snow on the ground. What's going on here? It's late May in Alaska, so there's no snow on the ground at all, at least not around here. So this is a little bit inaccurate. It doesn't snow year-round up here, so I don't know why it's looking like... Oh, okay. Maybe there's a way to adjust the calendar in this game, I don't know. But now it looks like the opening scene from the Shining from 1980, Jack Nicholson. You remember that? How the movie opens up where he's driving through the mountains and you hear that creepy music, that boom, 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 boom. You know. Yes, that was terrible, but I'm not apologizing. Anyway, I believe we are already coming upon, unless we already passed it, I don't know. I don't think we made it to Girdwood yet. I think we're almost there. I think it's around this next mountain here. I do like how the automatic airspeed, or the automatic throttle is keeping my airspeed where it is without having to keep the button pressed down. I don't have a HOTAS like flight stick. I really want to get one because that might be my next big project for me. I already bought my steering wheel. You have to get a HOTAS stick to play games like Elite Dangerous and this game and maybe some other games. I don't really have a whole lot of flight simulator type games. Supposed to be sightseeing. Sorry. How the mountains look from on the side of the Turnagain Arm. This is the Turnagain Arm. This is an actual place. Big body of water, right by Anchorage, Alaska. They call it the Arm because it's kind of, from the air, from the satellite, it's kind of shaped like an arm, like if someone's if they bend their elbow, almost like they're flexing, but maybe not too much. It resembles an arm, so they call it the Turnagain Arm. It's actually part of Cook Inlet. An inlet, as you know, is part of the ocean where it goes, where the part of the ocean goes inland. It's out here. It's all ocean water. It's all salt water, but it's going inland, and that inland portion is called an inlet. That's your quick and easy, free geography lesson from yours truly. So. And I'm yelling a bit because I don't know if you can hear me over the engines on the game. I really hope you can. I don't want this to be another American Truck Simulator live stream where I'm talking to you the whole time and you can't hear me because of the damn engine. It's like try to talk over the engine, you know. You gotta watch out for these power lines. These are actual power lines. They do exist on the highway next to the Seward Highway. So we're not quite to Girdwood yet. We are on the way there. I'm kind of glad these power lines popped up because they are an actual like a landmark, and they are actually kind of shaped like this, minus the actual power lines, of course. You have to put power lines like this out here because it's so remote, and it's not like just living in a city where your power lines are like, you know, mostly underground. Because this is Alaska. It's pretty remote by what you can see here. This time of year, there's no snow out here. It's not frozen over, so bit of an inaccuracy there. I'm gonna let that slide though, because I mean, really, what they've done with this game is nothing short of amazing. The fact that they made the entire world accessible to your computer and to your Xbox, you know, I mean, that's pretty freaking amazing. And the fact that this game performs so well, very similar to the PC version on a decent graphics card, says quite a bit about the amount of work that went into this game. I believe there's Girdwood over there, Girdwood's airport. So actual Girdwood's right here. We're coming up on there. I believe, yeah, that's Girdwood over here. We just passed there's a big gas station back there. We just passed it in real life. So we are now flying out towards Whittier. Or the turnoff that runs us out to Whittier. We're not going to Whittier on this game, not today. We might try it in the future. I had different ideas for live streaming this game, Flight Simulator. This is basically just a test run to see how well it works. And I did get that error message saying that this game, it doesn't allow live streaming. But I really hope that this entire stream makes it through instead of cutting us off like it did that last time. I tried to stream, I think it was Outer World or Outer Wilds. It only ended up letting me stream about 37 minutes before it just quit. I thought that was kind of lame. I'm watching that streaming icon off to the lower right of the screen, which you can't see, but if you're live streaming, you would see it. I want to make sure if the pause symbol pops up on there, then the stream turned off. But anyway, I think we're still along the highway. I don't know for sure. Keep an eye out for cars. There they are. Yeah, we're still on the highway. And we're also seeing some of the drawbacks of basing your game on satellite images, because obviously these are run off of very poor satellite images. Can't see the highway there. It's a big highway. Easily, well, no, but down this portion I think it's only 2 lane. But later on it'll jump up to like a 4-lane highway. But I had some ideas about like live streaming this video, this game. I wanted to do different parts of the world, like going to places, entering coordinates, and just like flying there. Like I want to fly like to Area 51. The Nazca lines in Peru, flying into China and looking at all the classified places, flying over North Korea, you know, to see how miserable it is there. Last time I played this game, we flew into different parts of Ukraine just to check it out. Not expecting to see a war there, but yeah, I tried checking out those live webcams of Ukraine just to check out all the fighting and the war. And you go to check out these webcams, and there's like nothing going on there. It's just like, it just looks like a normal everyday. Looks all calm and peaceful like this, and I'm thinking, where's the war? I thought Russia was invading Ukraine, and you don't see any of that stuff on the webcams. Like live webcams coming out of Kiev and all that. Yeah, I don't know what she was talking about, but still following the highway. Yeah. It's really pretty out here. Really pretty. Oh, I think I know why. It's during the snow, because I didn't put it on the live weather. I don't think. We do that? Put it on live weather? Good idea. Hold on. Do it from here. Oh, live weather's on. Set a day of the month to reset a data tracking. Sorry, I'm just checking to see if right. Gonna have to tough it out. I might title this on my YouTube channel when I upload it. The road to Seward, Alaska, something like that. I don't know. I'm mostly just trying to take a break from Sniper Elite. While I enjoy the killing on that game, I just want to take a break from it. Do something that's, fun and nonsensical, no-brainer. You don't have to think or strategize or calculate or plan too much about what you're gonna do. This game was more like I set an objective and I go, If they were to do like a driving simulator, driving up to Alaska, make it similar to this where you have the map. I mean, that'd be so cool. Yeah, the road actually does go up into the hills here, into the mountains. It does go like this, so we are now on our way to Seward. Here's inside the plane. I want to keep this view though because be mindful of how close we are to the ground. Yangtze River. I don't recall any Yangtze Rivers up here in Alaska. Could be they're just making up names. Maybe they're figuring people like you that aren't familiar with Alaska wouldn't know the difference. Those of us who are from here, or who live here, yeah, there's no Yangtze River in Alaska that I'm aware of. There could be one, but I don't know. If I remember, I might try to check it out later on, but flying up into the mountains here. I could try to get closer and nap at the earth. I really want to crash a plane or anything, so. If I knew how to shut off the intercom, I'd do it, but... Or shut off the radio. I am playing the casual version of this game, so there's like unlimited fuel. happened there, but my controller turned off. Just now, like disconnected, and then turned back on again. That's weird. My audio cut out for a second there. Thankfully the game kept going and the plane kept flying. That would have sucked. I don't know why it did that. Hold on a second here. Alright. Hold on a second. I'm just going to leave this unplugged here. I had my cord plugged into my controller. I should just leave that off. Okay. Alright. Get a little closer to the highway so we don't lose it, because we can't really see it for all the snow. I've never driven to Seward in the winter, and I don't know if you can tell, there's some obvious reasons why you wouldn't really want to. This is avalanche country. Not really a good idea to drive out there in the winter unless you have to. I mean, I just know I wouldn't want to do it. Now later on, we're going to come up to what's called Sterling Junction. And what that is, that's a junction in the road that you go left, continues on to Seward, you go right, goes on to Kenai. And well, we go to Seward today. Get an idea of how long it takes to drive out to Seward. It takes it's over 2-hour drive. Almost 3 hours to drive out there. That includes rest stops. If you have kids, you have a wife, you gotta let them out to pee. They're not like me, I can just hold it all the way there. Boy, I'd be the father of the year to force him to hold it all the way to Seward from Anchorage. Hey, Daddy, I gotta go pee. I'm like, shut up and hold it. It's me, man. I don't treat my kids like that. No, I don't. Just play with you. Don't report me to Twitter or Twitch or anything like that. The Twitch support team would be getting on my ass. Calling me on the phone. Hey, this is about you and your kids. You know? If you ever get the chance to come to Alaska, if you want to go anywhere that you could drive to, I recommend going down to Seward, going down to Kenai for the fishing. Great king salmon fishing down there. before you get to Seward. You leave Anchorage, about 40 miles out of Anchorage, you run into Girdwood. You go a little bit, like past Girdwood, there's a turn off. It's really hard to see, but you turn left, that takes you to Whittier. And then from Whittier, as I understand it, you can actually take the ferry from Whittier to Valdez, which is about like a 6-hour like boat trip. You can take a car on the ferry, and then you can you take the car on the ferry to Valdez, and you can drive back to Anchorage from Valdez. That's about a 5 or 6 hour drive right there. Oh, there's my mountain, the Pyramid Mountain. One of my favorite TV shows is that Ancient Aliens, and they're always talking about how they're finding all these old pyramids all over the world. And there's literally a mountain, that mountain right there, is shaped. It looks so much like a pyramid. It is creepy. You can kind of see it there. It's got a really pyramid-looking quality to it. I'm pretty sure it's not a real pyramid, but I mean, wouldn't it be cool if it was, and like the aliens built it? The aliens, man. Like that one guy on that show, the guy with the hair, George something. He's got a Greek name. And he's so funny. His memes are the best. His internet memes and the GIFs, they go like, there is such a thing even possible. And he turns his head. Yes, it is. And then there's that other one. I'm not saying it was the aliens, but it was the aliens. He's got like so many of these. And they're just memes that people made about the guy because he's so cool. Yeah, Ancient Aliens. That's such a cool TV show. It's cool because they don't even say that any of the stuff on the show is real. All they do is ask questions. What if? How is it that this happened? Isn't it amazing? The only way this could happen is if you could see it from the air 2,000 years ago. Things like that. Like they'll just totally make it sound like it's not. They're not making any actual bunch of statements like this is fact. They never say it's fact. They just keep asking questions, and then they show you this these visual images or aids or whatever, and they leave it up to you to decide if it's real or not. And then you go online and you research and you find out there's some scientists that actually went out and they tried to they debunked the show saying it was a lie. It never happened like that. It happened like this. Ancient Aliens is lying to you. And then I'm like, well, how are they lying to you if they're asking questions? Questions don't lie. Questions are just questions, you know? Promise of Seward. Let's see. Where is that? Sunset Lake. I'm not familiar with Sunset Lake. I probably have driven past it like 100 times at least, not knowing it's there. Oh wait, no. I couldn't read that. It's kind of hard to read off in the distance. Summit Lake. There's a nice restaurant we just passed over that way. It's pretty up here. Oh, there's Summit Lake. Actually, I took that back. There's a restaurant right there. See that the red building right there? That's the Summit Lake Lodge. That is our actual restaurant. Really good food there. You visit Alaska, go down to Seward, look for the Summit Lake Lodge. They make really good hamburgers there. Here we are. We're very near. I think the Sterling Junction is up ahead. It gets pretty close to Seward before the road breaks off, because the other road goes out to Kenai. And actually, you know what? After we get to Seward, we could go visit Kenai real quick and come back and go back to Anchorage. Just to be on the safe side, I just want to be upfront with this. I'm not going to show you where I live on this game. I won't show you where my house is, so, or where my home is, because there are creepy people out there that might actually try to track me down. So, you know, so that ain't gonna happen. As much as some of you may want to know where I live, I'm not going to show it to you. I'm not that ignorant. I'm not that naive. Although I do have my moments. That would not be one of them. Anyway, let's look around some more, because we're in some really beautiful country. We are literally driving through the mountains, or in between them. And I really wish this game was a little more accurate with their weather, the time of year, because you drive up here, and if you drive down to Seward in May, I ain't lying to you, there's no snow going down there right now. Not even on the mountains. There's very little snow on top of the mountains right now. It's just straight up, this is probably the best time of the year to go driving down there. Everything's green right now. All the leaves just came out about a couple weeks ago, 2-3 weeks ago. It's just a beautiful drive. I really hope this stream made it onto Twitch. I want to upload this to my YouTube channel and upgrade the image to 4K just to make it look good. So maybe next time we can fly up here down to Seward in an F-18. Get there like half an hour. About half an hour we'll get there. I think we're coming up on this Sterling Junction. This part does look familiar. Yeah, it's in the game. There it is. That's the road to Kenai. Off that way. We're gonna go this way. Yeah, this is the Sterling Junction right here. This whole, see that? Where the roads just kind of branch off each other? That is the Sterling Junction. Back on the road here. Almost wiped out there. I was telling my wife, I was telling Baby Doll this a while back. It'd be cool if they added eventually, missions to Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. I mean, like missions akin to, say, American Truck Simulator, where you can take cargo from point A to point B and like make a career out of it. I bet they could do that on the PC version if there's a modding community there. Yeah, this is a very familiar looking scene right here. Mountains looking like this. Driving into Seward. Looks very much. This looks so accurate right here. As far as the mountains are concerned, they literally do look like this in real life. Going nap the earth up here. Now that we're doing this, I can make a series out of this game too. Fly to Fairbanks, get ambitious, and fly along the Alaskan Highway, leaving Alaska, going through Canada, flying down to Seattle, Washington. Oh well, I thought I mentioned this too. I haven't quite mastered the art of landing yet, so probably to crash land this game, or crash land the plane before the finish off the game here. So. Now, supposedly they're putting helicopters in this game. Probably after the Top Gun promotion is finished. That one game I just streamed last night, the one I'm uploading to YouTube, the one that's already on my Twitch channel right now, Sniper Elite 5. The game literally just came out yesterday. I wanted to purchase the full game and the season pass, and it's something like $90, I think, but I want to wait a bit because I want the Game Pass, the discount, and I know they're not going to discount a game on the first day it comes out, so alright, wait for the discount to pop up and then buy it then. But I mean, the fact that it's on Game Pass now, I can just play it. At least the like vanilla version of the game. Actually, finish the game. I mean, I don't care what anybody says. A Game Pass is a good deal. I mean, so what if you're missing some AAA titles? It's not. There's too much of a good deal there to pass up. For like what, $15 a month for the Ultimate Edition. I mean, it's not terrible, folks. I mean, last night alone, I got my money's worth of my whole month of Game Pass. Because, yeah, that live stream I did of Sniper Elite 5 on day one of the launch. I mean, that's almost, let's see, what was that? 4 hours and 53 minutes of streaming time. It's almost 5 hours, folks. Alright, they do have a runway out here. We're not going to land it. We're going to keep on going. Seward is right over there, I think. I say, I don't know. Next time I drive out this way, I'm keep an eye out for this runway here. But honestly, I didn't even know they had one out here. You'll notice when I was first starting the stream tonight, when I mentioned that I'm not playing the simulator part of this game. I'm just gonna pick it up and we're just gonna start flying. Yeah, you can play this game as almost like an arcade game, casual game. You don't have to play it as a flight simulator. You know, where you're starting off cold, you gotta turn on the engine, you gotta click all the buttons, check your flaps and all that crap. You don't have to do all that to enjoy the game. You can just pick up the game and start playing and turn all the auto assist on and just play the game. Have fun. Go exploring, man. Four places and parts of the world that you never even knew existed, or you know are there, but you'll never get to see them in real life. You know, you can at least check it out in the game. Say, oh, that's what it looks like. You know? Like for example, I'll probably never go to the pyramids in Egypt in real life, but I mean, I've already flown there on the game here a while back, so. I'm just having a lot of fun with this right now because the road to Seward here, I have driven it many times. And so I know what this trip is like in real life. And it just makes it more fun. See, there's Seward out there ahead of us, off in the distance, about 12 nautical miles away. Nautical miles is as the crow flies. On the road, it's actually another maybe 20 miles or so. And I mean, when you play the game, or when you look at the games, really look at it, the graphics aren't the best, okay? But you're not really playing for the graphics. You're playing for the content, the amount of content that's in the game. I mean, the plane models look good enough, you know. But the fact that they crammed literally the entire world into this game is like, it's just crazy. And I wonder if anybody's tried it yet, flying around the world in this game, just to see how long it takes you to do it. I'd like to try it out. But I have no idea how long that would take me. If I did that though, would you watch it? Would you watch all 10 days of that? At least 10 days. I don't know if I could play a game that long, sorry. That's something you'd have to make a series out of. Like, they were gonna fly from Anchorage to China, and then next day we'll fly from China to I don't know, Europe, France, okay, and then the next day we'd fly from France across the Atlantic to New York, and then the next day we're gonna fly from New York to Seattle, and then the next day we're gonna fly from Seattle to Anchorage, and then there we go, around the world in about 5 days or so. I don't know. And of course we'd have to do it in the F-18. Speed things up there. You know what plane they should have put in the game is the Concorde. Remember the Concorde? Concorde crashed about 20 years ago. Terrible accident. Crashed and burned right on top of a neighborhood. Killed a bunch of people on the ground. Back in, 2001, 2002. And it's like, and then, yeah, they well, they didn't really retire the Concorde. It kind of retired itself, but they discontinued the Concorde brand, from what I understand. I don't remember taking this long to get to Seward. Oh yeah, this is the road. When we get to Seward, I'm gonna pause it and go get something to drink. My throat's getting dry. My pot ran out. Got my water right next to me, but I don't feel like drinking water. And I'm not gonna land in Seward. I'm gonna cheat and just pause it midair, turn around and fly back. Because this bores me. Anyone want to play a game of basketball? That's a quote right there. Say it again. This bores me. Does anybody want to play a game of basketball? I'll give you a big hug if you can. You can guess where I pulled that quote from. Say it one more time. This bores me. Does anybody want to go play a game of basketball? I'll give you time to Google that one. Kind of an easy one, though. I'm sure some of you already know this one. Oh, look, here's Seward. Or we're on the outskirts of Seward right now. Doesn't quite look this snowy in real life. Not the times I've been here. The road, the highway, whatever, is right here. There it is right there. And I'm on the outskirts right now. The actual town's like right there. The landing field's right there. I do know, yeah, I do remember, yeah, there's an airport right here. This is the Seward Airport. Not much there, folks. Basically just a strip of dirt. You got some big buildings in the Seward area. I think that's their hospital over there. And then We're entering the town right here. Hotel there, another one there. And the downtown area. Oh, I think I see the Sea Life Center. What I mentioned earlier before we started playing. I'll fly over the Sea Life Center and then I'll pause it. I'm pretty sure that's the Sea Life Center. This is supposed to be downtown Seward right here. A little bit inaccurate. Yeah, that's a Sea Life Center. We're flying right over it. Doesn't really look... kind of looks like it. This is where they had that landslide. And see, it's pretty easy to see why they would have a landslide there. You drive along this really narrow road right next to the mountain. There's a sheer cliff like right there. Whenever I drove on this road here, I always got worried. Boy, all it takes is one or two big boulders crashing down on us to ruin our day. And it finally happened. They had a big landslide there. People who lived out here at the, I forget the name. It's called something Landing. People actually live out here in houses and such, and they got a whole bunch of boats and stuff out here. Well, after that landslide, people who lived out here, they were trapped. They were stuck. They had no way to get into town. And vice versa, people who lived out here who went to town, went to Seward that day, they were all stuck in Seward. They couldn't get back home. Alright, I'm gonna pause it here really quick. But I'll say this, that quote that I told you about, this bores me. Does anybody want to play a game of basketball? If you guessed Chappelle's Show 2004, where he was where Dave Chappelle was pretending to be Prince, of Prince and the Revolution fame, and was part of what's his face, Charlie Murphy's real life Hollywood stories. He was talking about how he was hanging out with Prince. That one time he got to hang out with Prince. Charlie Murphy, as you know, is Eddie Murphy's older brother. Charlie Murphy passed away a few years ago. Tragic, because I love that guy. He was so funny. He literally looked like Eddie Murphy's twin, just like a bigger guy, right? But he totally didn't talk like him, didn't sound like him, didn't act like Eddie Murphy at all. He's like just a big dude. But he was funny. And yeah, he was telling his real life true story about how he met Prince at a bar or at a club. They were hanging out at a club, and Prince and the Revolution come into the club, and Prince says hi to Eddie Murphy, and something happened. They were making fun of Prince about something. Charlie Murphy and his buddies. Prince got mad at them and said, "You want to challenge him to a game of basketball?" And Charlie Murphy, him and his buddies are all laughing because Prince and Revolution, they're all dressed like, kind of. It was the '80s. They're dressed kind of girly, and then Charlie Murphy says, "But don't judge a book by its cover, because turns out in real life, Prince was a damn good basketball player. He played on a team, I guess, at one point, a professional team or something. And I mean, apparently he was very, very, very good at basketball. He was like everything that Obama claimed to be, Prince actually was. Like, Prince was like, there's pictures of Prince wearing his basketball uniform, and he's holding the ball and everything like that. And apparently Prince was like almost NBA quality. And yeah, it's a funny skit. Yeah, check it out sometime. It's from the Chappelle Show, the second season, when that episode aired. Um, Give me a quick pause. I am going to get something to drink out of the fridge here. My throat's parched. You can hear how dry my voice is. Give me one quick second here. All right, I'll be right back. I'll be right back. All right, we're back. Sorry. I also had to check my upload for Sniper Elite 5. That one is being HD processed on YouTube as we speak, so hopefully we'll get a 4K picture of that within the next couple days or so. subtitles within the next few days. Continue on our journey. We are out in Seward, Alaska. Now we're gonna go back to Anchorage and land our plane and call it a good trip. So here we are. Gonna fly right over the Alaska Sea Life Center again. I'm going the other way. Of course, once again, the Alaska Sea Life Center, if you Google it or look it up on Wikipedia, it'll give you a pretty good description of what it is, the history of the place. It's Alaska's very own a wildlife, sea life aquarium. Now, in the game, looks like a prison. I guess, in a way, yeah, it's like a prison for animals, sea animals. But it's actually, yeah, the Sea Life Center. It's much nicer than it does here. Seward looks nothing like this. There's a lot more buildings here. What we're seeing is a very poor satellite picture of the area around Seward, inside Seward city limits. Looks way better than this. First we're going back the other way. We're gonna go back home. And I forget what building this is. I think this is their hospital. It kind of look like a hospital, do you? I'll have to check out the real life map of this place some other time, but we're just gonna go back home here. If I can find the road again. I think this is it right here. Yeah. Here's the highway again. Kind of tough to gauge a highway from the air like this because it's really hard to see it. They've got it covered in snow. And of course, that's not what it really looks like in real life. So. I only know where it is because I live up here and I've driven out here before, so I know where it's supposed to be. The road kind of hugs the cliff here. There, if you look close, you'll be able to see some cars driving. Going back this way here. Going the right way? Here I am. If I get lost, we'll just as the crow flies. I have gone the wrong way because I don't remember going this way. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I'm lost. This is not the way we came. This is a glacier. Or something. I ain't never been this way before. Alright, let's just go back. Hold on. Turn around. Be a daredevil. It's playing around right now. Okay, there's a bridge I missed or something? I don't know. Flying east right now. And Anchorage is over that way. Is this it right here? I don't really remember. It's like we were on the right side, and then all of a sudden, I lost the road. I'm gonna go back here a ways and find out where the hell we are. There's Seward. Okay, I got that part right. Is there a bridge that I missed? I don't recall any bridges heading out of Seward. I wonder what the heck happened here. Okay. You're also seeing a very like a scary and creepy phenomenon about Alaska. Why so many planes get lost up here. Oh, I was supposed to go that way, okay. But there was a bridge or something that left out of here. So. There's the airport, there's the runway. Okay, there's the highway. Supposed to go this way. There is a bridge right there. Right now we're going the right way. I wouldn't have gotten turned around if they had not put snow everywhere. Here's the highway. But yeah, I think the idea that I had a while back was to list all these places, major and minor landmarks around the world, and then input the coordinates into the game, and then just go there. Fly there, find out where Area 51 is, and then just fly around there. Look for the buildings where there might be UFOs from there, things like that. Check out the Nazca lines in Peru. Remember I said I was gonna go check out Kenai. Well, not today. Too far out of the way though. Yeah, I'll just go back. It's late. I haven't taken a nap. I haven't slept all day. I'm tired. I had a busy day today. Driving all over town. I was actually late to a few of my appointments. And it's just like, you drive around all day and you get beat. Really exhausting. Be a professional driver. That's not all I do. I do other things. I don't want to dox myself on the internet, on YouTube, so I'm not going to do that. We are flying up into the mountains a bit, so this will affect our airspeed. Shameless self-promotion. Don't forget to smash that like button. Make sure to click on the bell to subscribe. In real life, for some reason, you get to Seward, turn around, you drive back. For some reason, the drive like back to Anchorage from Seward always goes much faster for some reason. Don't know why. I think maybe subconsciously it's because you're driving a little bit, faster, because you're in more of a hurry, you're more anxious to get home. I mean, the drive to Seward is very nice, it's very pretty, but it does take a lot out of you. But that's the drive home, you're more eager, you're more anxious to get home, and go home and go lay down, or go to bed or something. Fortunately, because this game has this part of the Seward Highway covered in snow, I'm not really able to give you as much of a detailed sightseeing tour, because I'm not quite sure exactly where I am. I have an idea where I am. I guess that's good enough. But I was gonna try to do you guys a solid and say stuff like, and off to our right we have this mountain right here, and then off to our left we have this mountain right here. And then straight ahead, we have the road, and then behind us, more mountains. Yeah, the performance is not the best here. I think it's supposed to go this way. I think. Maybe I've just gotten lost here. See, road signs definitely help. Side of the... Okay, yeah, we're going this way. So. Correct. Stay on the side of the lake. And that's what this is. It's a big lake. And Alaska's got literally a million of them. Alaska has the most lakes than literally any other place on Earth. It has the most coastline than any other place on Earth. If you superimpose an actual size or to scale picture of Alaska over different countries and continents, you'd be surprised at how big that Alaska really is. I once saw a picture of Alaska superimposed over a picture of Australia, and it literally covered, most of that country or that continent. I don't know for sure, but I think I was supposed to be on the other side of this lake here. Is that airport? Remember we passed right by it? Go check it out. I think that's the road over there. I no longer saw a road over there. I think this is the Seward Highway right here. That airport that we're coming up on to, Lawing, is coming up on here pretty quick. What else they really need to do here, way back a little over 20 years ago, they made a Microsoft Flight Simulator 2000. They also made another game that I actually own, Microsoft Combat Flight Simulator 2000. Was essentially the same models, same plane models, but they were World War II airplanes, and they were working plane models of World War II airplanes from the Pacific, and I forget the exact planes' names, but they had like you can shoot. They have machine guns on the planes. You can actually fire the machine guns, and the bombs. Something you can put on the planes. You actually drop the bombs. And then they gave you actual, missions, like attacking the Japanese, battleships, and aircraft carriers. You could bomb them and everything like that. Go dogfighting, and it was a cool game for the year 2000. I remember the graphics, they're pretty outdated now, I'm sure, but there wasn't much of, you know, detail, terrain detail, because you're fighting over the Pacific. Everywhere you look off to the horizon was the ocean, you know, so not really much in the way of scenery. Just everything below you was blue, or like dark blue, and everything above you was like a lighter blue. Well, that's just to fly over the mountains, and we're not going to do that. We're going to take a long way around. See all the buttons here? Don't know any of them. And yeah, it is getting late. I'm tired. And I do gotta work in the morning. I know you're tired of hearing me complain about having to work in the morning, but it's true! You gotta believe me, Dimitri. I'm trying to remember the quote from that movie. He's talking about how, I'm sorry, our pilots are flying low and avoiding your radar, but they're trained to do that. Ooh, look, flying pretty low, aren't we? I can't recall exact quotes right now, but the movie I was quoting there, they're more like paraphrasing, was a movie called like Dr. Strangelove from 1964. Peter Sellers movie. He starred a bunch of roles in that movie. He played multiple characters. The guy was such a chameleon that you literally could not recognize him. He played President Muffley. He played Dr. Strangelove. He played Royal Air Force. I forget the guy's name. And then he played, I think, one more character in that movie. Or was that it? Was it just those three? It might have just been those three. But he literally owned that movie. He was so perfect in it. And all three characters he played were just completely, you know, different from each other. I don't know if you want to call him a method actor. He was definitely, Peter Sellers was definitely one of the best comedians that I've ever seen anywhere. Peter Sellers, as you know, is also more famous for the Pink Panther movies. He played Inspector Clouseau, and from what I recall, I don't know why they call them Pink Panther movies, because they're, aside from the opening credits and the end credits where the Pink Panther character was, the actual movie itself, there never was a Pink Panther. It was just, I think, I don't know the reasoning behind that, but they're very good movies, though. Alright, here's the Sterling Junction. Kenai's over there. We're not going to go that way today. Maybe some other day. We're just going to keep on flying back to Anchorage. see how relaxing this game can be. Soothing sound of the plane's engine. Gotta stay focused. Interesting, as the day is going on, traffic's getting heavier on the road. I don't know if they planned that, if it's just coincidence or something. But in some ways, this does kind of remind me a bit of American Truck Simulator. Kind of flying along the highway. Fun going on. It's kind of what driving feels like. Driving for the long haul, you know. Trees. So funny, my wife is telling me we have a house in the Philippines now, and the house our bedroom has air conditioning, and her mom and dad, my mother-in-law and father-in-law, they're staying, or they live at the house, you know, along with our other son, and my wife's leaving there on Monday to go get him and bring him back here. So she'll be gone for a couple months. But anyway, she's telling me about how her mom and dad told her that apparently our house has a ghost now. It's turning all the doorknobs inside the house. They're watching the doorknobs turn by themselves, and when her dad went to check to open the door, see who was turning the door around on the other side of the door. There's like nobody in the room, and I guess he closed the door and then started doing it again. You know, so it's, to me it sounds funny. I've lived in houses that were haunted before, and when they're playing around like that, I don't sweat it. Something's either trying to communicate with you, or it's just playing around with you. I'm leaning more towards the latter. If it's just a ghost trying to mess around with you, I mean, shoot, you know, I wouldn't be scared of that. In a way, I can see the humor in it. Okay, imagine being a ghost, okay? You're dead. And you're a disembodied, spirit from... You don't have a body. You're just a spirit, right? Maybe you have limited power to physically manipulate things in the real world. So if you're dead, you don't sleep, do you? You're up all the time. You're not really doing much of your time. If time is even a relevant thing at all in that, you want to call it a dimension. You're a disembodied spirit with no body. Imagine you're in a different realm of like physics. You're kind of within the realm of like metaphysics at that point. I'm just running this as a scenario here. Okay, it's all theory here. But imagine that. Okay, you're dead. You're a spirit. You're a ghost. Whatever. You don't sleep. You have no need of sleep. So you're awake all the time. But you're passing. Either you're passing time, or time maybe just kind of floats in and out of wherever you're at, depending on how you're interacting with the physical world. So then you ask yourself, okay, what do you do with all your time that you're spending there? Imagine being a ghost, a dead person. Must be really boring, you know. There's nothing to do, you know. Just kind of walking around, watching other people that might be around, watching them living their life, going through their days, you know. And imagine, okay, you get so bored with yourself, you start doing things just to do them, you know. Like, I think I'm gonna mess around with what's his face today, just to piss him off, or don't really want to scare him. So we're just gonna play around with him. We're gonna hide his car keys or something. You know? We're gonna turn the lights on and off just to get a reaction out of him. You know? To me, that's what being a ghost is. You're just kind of, for whatever reason, you're stuck somewhere. Maybe you're lost. Maybe you don't know where to go. You tend to just stick around places that you're most familiar with, or even better, you stick around certain people that you're most familiar with. Maybe you grow attached to them. Maybe you follow them around just because you have nothing else to do. You're that bored, you know. That's what my theory of what a ghost is. It's like to be a ghost. Kind of. You're basically bored off your ass, and you have nothing better to do than to mess with people. Mess with living people. And that's why they call the Ghostbusters on you. There's that bridge. Remember the bridge. Okay, we're going the right way. What if I get points for flying under that bridge? Find out next time we're out here. I want to go back home and go to bed. I'm sleepy. Worst case scenario, I'll just crash land the plane somewhere and just call it a night. But no, we'll make an effort to land the plane on the water or something. The graphics here look pretty good. Look at that water. Ah, it's already 2 o'clock in the morning. Holy cow. Ended up being a longer live stream than I thought it was going to be. Did I start this about 2 hours ago? Or maybe about 3 hours ago? still going the right way. Now the sun's in front of us. We are going east. So it looks like it's still morning. Yeah, this is the exact same feeling. I'm playing that American Truck Simulator for a while. That's wear you out. And I know too, if you've ever driven a long distance in real life, you know that feeling. Not much physical effort in terms of driving the vehicle, or in this case flying it, but it's just that long trip. It requires more endurance than a lot of people tend to think it does. Now we're going through the mountains. We're going to be coming up on Turning an Arm very shortly. Like right straight ahead. Perhaps this is part of Alaska you've never seen before. Whether on those sightseeing tours or whatever. Our landing gear's still down. I was trying to raise it. I don't think you can. Oh boy, I'm getting really sleepy. I might not even have the energy to upload this to YouTube tonight, but we'll see. there is turning an arm. Straight ahead. Oh, she's right over here. Yeah, this part's kind of a pain in the ass to drive through when there's road construction, especially. Oh, and heading up this way, a lot of folks they'll fish right off of the side of the highway with the water. I've seen people fishing here along the bridge. Drive further. Heading in towards Girdwood, yeah, oftentimes you'll see when you're driving in real life, just loads of people lined up along the side of the highway. They're fishing right off the edge to the water, further down. They have to climb down the rocks to get to the shoreline, and then from there it's they can go fishing there. It happens right around here. This area, go past here, and it's actually up ahead more, where you'll see the road get closer to the water on the left. That big white space there, that's all water. This is what it looks like when it's iced over. It's not iced over this time of year. Yeah, right around this part here is where they're good. Apparently, there's good fishing here. You see a lot of folks, a lot of tourists and such, start to fish right along this area right here. Still got a ways to go, but we are slowly going back onto our side of the island. Anchorage side. Are we past Seward already? We have. It's pretty hard to tell in this game some parts. Might be Aliester right here. Looks like it because it's the only mountain in America where you can ski all the way from the top of the mountain right down to sea level. Okay, yeah. Sherwood's over there. Bridge. The gas station. There. Big long straightaway here. About a mile long, I think. Leaving Girdwood, turn to the left. Now run our way back to Anchorage. Oh. If I try the trip to Fairbanks later, at a later time, that's a much longer trip flying over the road. Not sure if I want to do that. Maybe in a faster plane, yeah, but I'd have to have way more energy to do it than I have right now. Right now, I just want to go to bed, sleepy. We're almost there. Gotta complete the mission. Or, as the movie quote goes, no, I must finish the race. Guess that movie quote. I'll give you a virtual handshake. I'll say it again. No, I must finish the race. Summertime. Getting there. Alright, Google that quote you want. No, I must finish the race. Alright, you got time to Google it. You guessed Cool Runnings 1993 starring John Candy. You would be correct. It was that one scene in the movie where the bobsledders, or a bunch of Jamaican bobsledders, where the Jamaican bobsled team to compete in the Winter Olympics. The guy who said that No, I must finish the race. I believe it's the main protagonist in the movie. His name in the movie is Sanka. You know, like the coffee or the pretend coffee. Sanka, he was steering the bobsled in that race, and they crashed. And they were so close to the finish line that when the one guy asked Sanka, "Hey man, are we done, or are we dead, or something like that?" And Sanka's looking in front of him down the track. Finish line's right there, and he says to them, he goes, "No, I must finish the race." They get up and they start carrying the bobsled. Very touching moment in the movie. Like one of those tearjerker moments. You know? Never give up. Sent a positive message to our children. You can watch that movie on the Disney Plus channel now. Yeah, I'm one of the people who's not a fan of Disney Plus. This was after subscribing to it for 2 years. I just looked at the content. I never played it. I never watched it really. Maybe one of those few times where I remember that I even was subscribing to it. I just ended up not renewing my subscription. I wasn't really missing anything. A lot of the content, it was just either kids' movies or just movies that I never really cared to watch. Like Disney ran into its own set of problems years ago, generations ago, when they were trying to do more live-action, family-friendly movies, and a lot of them turned out to be just not good. And you just kind of didn't really care. I'm fighting to stay awake now. See, this is more like everything's green again. This looks like May weather right here. Oh. This is McHugh Creek. McHugh Creek is we got hiking trails up that way. You can hike away from the highway a little bit. Hiking trails are all well marked. It's more of like a tourist attraction than anything else, but yeah, it's a pretty fun place to go. Bring the kids and just go exploring. Alright, we're getting close. See that flight path off in the distance, those red markers? That's our flight path to land at, looks like Lake Hood. So we're gonna veer off course here for a bit. We're coming up on Anchorage. Potter's Marsh right down here. When you fly this way, keep going this way, you're going to run into that Welcome to Anchorage sign. See if we can see the Welcome to Anchorage sign. It's on the right side. Alright, we're gonna go. Got the flight path here. I think it starts right here. I guess I could land there. It's a flying crown. I really want to land in a neighborhood though. Let's just go lens. Here's Dew Lake Road and Raspberry going out to Kincaid Park. Bad. I guess we just pick a place to park our plane, right? Okay. I guess that was a success. We parted, flew down to Seward, flew all the way back from Seward, back to Anchorage. Took us a little over 2 hours of flight time. In the day, we departed at 8:15 a.m. We arrived back where we started at Lake Hood at 10:19 a.m. Yeah, I would call this a success. We're going to continue. And that'll be all she wrote. And not much else to say, but we're gonna call it a night here. And anybody who is watching, I do appreciate you watching. Once again, we were having a bit of fun tonight, and yeah, that's that. I guess I don't have much else to say to you. But yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, tomorrow, today, whatever. Going on 7 a.m. your time, East Coasters, New York City dwellers. Get pretty sleepy. I'm gonna go off to bed here. Don't have much to say right now, so. But yeah, again, thanks for watching, and I will see you on the flip side. I am out of here. Peace.